Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back. Throwback Thursday. And I just wanted to say that. We ain't throwing back to anything. Today's the 22nd. So welcome back. Today's March 22nd, 2018, Thursday. Why does it always take me so fucking long just to cover that basic fucking... Anyway. So, yeah, let's get started today. Had a long ass fucking night. Great fucking night. A lot of filming with my friend. Finally got that shit done. See if I can spend the rest of the day editing. Anywho, art stuff. So what are we gonna talk about today? I don't know, bro. Whatever. I just looked through a bunch of shit. It's a bunch of stuff to talk about. I'm sure you guys want to hear my opinion. I want to hear my opinion on some of these things. So let's start off with, I guess it just seems to have been like kind of like the big story yesterday. I kind of glossed over it, not even glossed over. I don't think I even mentioned it much, or I forgot. But I should have talked about it a little more. But really, not really. How about this? The story is, as we all know, of course not. We don't know shit. Oh yeah, the Snowden leaks. You know what I mean? Again, more Snowden. Snowden's awesome, great guy, patriot, right? Going to give him the benefit of the doubt, okay? At least for now. But anyway, where, you know, as you guys already know what the headline is. You know, you've heard the headline. The headline was that the NSA, the government, has been tracking Bitcoin and Bitcoin transactions and uses for like the last 5 years. Look, sure. When I read that news story, I was like, oh, okay. But, I mean, come on. At the end of the day, I mean, we've discussed this many times here, and if we haven't, we'll discuss it now. You know, one of the conspiracy theories, or one of the theories out there as to who Satoshi Nakamoto is and who created all this was, you know, the government. And now any government, our government, and by ours, I mean, you know, this country's government, the US of A, all right? So, you know, again, this is nothing new. I read that and I was like, okay. And again, whether they or this country created this or not, it doesn't really fucking matter. The point is that I'm guessing 5 years ago, was around the time, I don't really know, but I'm just taking a stab in the air here, around the time of the Mt. Gox, around the time when there was a lot of FUD after some euphoria in this space, and you know, that's probably the time that the government used in order, you know, to use as an excuse in order to like, okay, now let's take a deep look into this. And look, even though it's taking us forever to fucking figure out what the blockchain is and all that shit, the blockchain technology, or that technology in itself, again, do some research on this. That's kind of been around even longer than 8 years, okay? Longer, you know, than that situation. That technology, or that idea of that technology, has been around for a very long time, decades even, okay? And in fact, you can even research this. At some point in the 90s, our own government even talked about creating what the blockchain is, what a Bitcoin is, all this stuff. So everything, all the infrastructure we have now, it's already been thought of by this government decades ago in the 90s, and somehow it came to fruition, whether it was them or some unknown entity. It doesn't matter. We're here. And so that's why I've talked about, and I can still talk about, where, you know, again, this is just the new currency. This Bitcoin is just like the new US dollar type of thing, and treat it as such. You know, don't, you know, as much as we want to treat this thing as this infallible currency, this thing that can never be hacked, this thing that is like, you know, from God itself. No. As much as we want that to be, remember, this whole shit's still in beta. Maybe years down the line, we will have that, you know, something maybe closer to a Monero. But again, we've already even talked about shit like this, where that whole privacy thing, that's really more like a thing for people like us, okay? But the average American, the average, not even American, the average human living on this earth doesn't really give a fuck about that aspect, okay? They just want the whole peer-to-peer. They don't want a banking system. They want to keep their money and not, you know, give incremental bits to all these middlemen. That's it, okay? And that's really what, you know, people are interested in this technology more than anything. They just want less of their money leaving their pockets. Well, that's most of us, but, you know, some of us that are deeper into this, are, you know, want more out of this stuff. Anyways, so, you know, come full circle, you know, again, to where we're at with Bitcoin. You know, Bitcoin, you know, it could literally be a government project or not. It doesn't really fucking matter, though. the fact that they've been keeping tabs on it for the last 5 years and this whole thing, there's nothing new to that. And we know the ones that are kind of deep into this stuff, it's like they can keep tabs all they motherfucking want, okay? We already know how all this stuff works in a sense that, like, they can, track whatever the fuck they want to track, okay? So, anyways, so that's that with that, okay? To me, not so new. In fact, let's go move on to like the whole Facebook Zuckerberg thing. Again, this comes out and it's like, why are people even that surprised? Just like this whole fucking thing with the Bitcoin blockchain shit. Why are even people that surprised? And, to me, I look at this like as news, not news, because what is this? The final kick in the butt. Is this like the equivalent of, like, let's say your spouse is cheating on you and you're in denial, and it's like you have to catch your spouse literally cheating on you on your own bed with somebody else in order for you to be like, okay, fine, I'll move on. Is this what this is for you guys out there? For not you guys, but whoever's out there, looking at this shit like, what? So, all right, we've talked about this stuff. We've talked about this a little bit already. Let's talk about a little bit about the economy. This is just updates today, Thursday updates. Let's talk about the economy a little bit. Look, again, I don't know if the few of you out there that have, watched my shit religiously, watch every second of everything I say. You guys have probably already heard me mention that I wanted to do the Gregory Mannarino thing, what he does every day. Well, I've been talking about, I wanted to do that starting last week. I haven't done any of that at all. Why haven't I done any of it at all? Because again, if you guys actually watch him just like I watch him, you guys know that there's no plays to do. It's all to lose money right now. So that's why I haven't even attempted to even go into that, okay? Because of the volatility in the economy at the moment in that market. So that's why I haven't, I've just doubled down. I've doubled down on our space, on the crypto space, okay? And then if I watch him having a bunch of positive weeks and that whole, thing, he gets back on track, or that gets back on track, then yeah, we'll explore that again, and hopefully we can, grow together in that sense. But regardless, I watch him because he, to me, is like was it the canary in the coal mine type of thing, when it comes to like this whole thing. I mean, the economy falling down and everything. And it's true. I like listening to him because he brings up, a lot, just, kind of like from a historical perspective, but he just brings up, these facts that, a lot of times we always just want to rush over or not even look at, or, just like skip altogether because, what we want is for this to happen. But the reality is that this is going to happen over here. No matter how much we want this to happen, it'll probably happen, but we have to get through all this to get here. And that's the thing. This is just normal human behavior, human nature. So, just like when it comes to like, right now, every single fucking sign, for the longest fucking time has been pointing to in red, that this fucking economy is about to tank, that everything's gonna fall, that everything's gonna be a fucking, disaster, fucking World War III-ish, not even World War III, what is it, like what am I thinking of, Water World or something like that, the fucking apocalypse type of shit. But look, the fucking reality is, the reality of all of this is that that's just not gonna happen. Just not gonna happen, okay? We're gonna have, a lot of economic turmoil. It's going to get just worse and worse, and it's just going to be gradual, and it's just going to be like a snail, and it's going to take its time, and we're going to get there eventually, but it's going to be a process. It's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen no, it's just not. And even if we have another, which we will, another economic crash, it's not going to be what we think it is. It's just not, okay? We got to keep remembering all of these things. And right now, the stock market, our economy, like a lot of things, they just can't come to a halt. They can't just stop. They can't whatever. The repercussions worldwide would be insane. And it would put literally everybody like on hold and then trouble, the whole fucking thing. Only a handful of people, I want to say under about 50 people or less, are the only ones that want the whole fucking total devastation of fucking everything. But guess what? Because of a lot of things that have been happening in the last couple months, years, etc., let's not get too detailed on this, that there's been a stop put to all that, okay? And where we're at now is that, again, the majority of the population of Earth has kind of has a little bit of the power back, and we're just gonna go down that route as opposed to the apocalyptic route. That's it. Now, I don't want to fucking sit here and deny that there are parts of the world, or there are people. Let's go Jordan Peterson right now, okay? You guys don't know Jordan Peterson? I suggest you just turn this shit off and just look him up and find out who he is. Anyway, but there's a Jordan Peterson thing right now where, we might say to ourselves like, oh, this ain't no apocalypse. We're not even going to be anywhere close to an apocalypse. But, this is a little psychological exercise. There's a lot of people right now in this fucking world, not just in this country, but around the world now, that are living through the apocalypse. Just think about it. Just think about someone living in fucking Mumbai, India, or someone living in Skid Row here in Los Angeles, and we can just go down the line. There's a lot of people in Venezuela at the moment. There's a lot of fucking people around the world living through this apocalypse. Look, how about this? I was just reading an article right now where in Japan, like women of 80-year-old women or older, they can't support themselves anymore, so they're committing petty crimes in order to get themselves arrested so they can go to jail and have a roof over their head, clothes, warm water, a bed, food, healthcare. So, doesn't that sound familiar, like what's happening here and stuff like that? So, like the world is we're all like one symbiotic fucking entity, okay? And we all have to constantly not just take care of ourselves, but take care of everybody, okay? Take care of the whole planet, take care of everything, period, in the story. So when we see what's going on, we gotta fucking remember that if we're going through bad shit, we can't even forget about others that are going through even worse shit and what's going on really in the totality of everything. I guess why I'm bringing all this up is because I was watching the Kaiser report, okay, today, and this is something that's been kind of like in the local news a little bit, and talked about here in the NPR news, and just heard, talked about, listen to NPR, why not? It's, it's interesting, especially now. Anyway, so, and long story short, here in LA, there's like a humongous gentrification problem. It's a humongous problem with the homeless. It's a humongous problem with that. Anyone that lives out here, what the hell's going on. And it's talked about a lot in the local, news and the local everything. But then when I saw this and I've seen this on national type news before, but then when I was watching the Kaiser report today, and they were talking about it more, and they were talking about housing, and they were talking about like the gentrification of Boyle Heights, which is a neighborhood out here, that and then when they started talking about all this stuff, and I started like realizing like not even that, like I was just like having a conversation a few days ago with somebody, a friend of a friend's, and she's like, I want to say like 60, 70 years old, and we were talking about the homeless problem and housing and this and that, and like all these solutions, and it's just like, as I'm listening to her, listening to others talk about these things, I'm like, man, I feel so horrible, because like we kind of know the solutions, okay? And the reality is that every other thing that we hear others talk about as solutions, they're really not solutions. Remember, these are all symptoms to the major problem. The people that, you guys that listen to me here all the time and know about the financial situation, financial problems, why we invest in Bitcoin, why we invest in gold and silver, what's going on with all that shit. We also realize what's really going on with all this situation. Like, let's just put it to you like this. Look, this is how I solve the homeless fucking problem. But again, no one can really put a finger on it, okay? It's like this. Okay, and when I'm gonna talk to you, I'm guessing most of the people listening here are libertarians, so you guys kind of get what I'm going at here. I'm not stating any kind of affiliation, just saying. But anyway, how to solve the homeless problem in a few fucking minutes. Real quick, we know that there's X amount of homeless people. I don't know the exact numbers. I'm just gonna throw some numbers out here, but this is kind of relative, okay? There's like, let's say 200 homeless people, and there's 1,000 empty properties across the United States. I know the numbers are bigger and a little different, but that's kind of like the ratio. It's a ratio like that, where there's like certain, like, let's say like 200 homeless people and like 1,000 fucking empty fucking, residential areas. And again, apartments, houses, you name it, okay? To fill that. So obviously, You know what I mean? This homeless problem isn't really, I mean, there are homes for these people, but what's the disconnect, okay? Well, obviously, if we're looking at it from like a libertarian or a Republican, conservative, all this stuff, you know, like there's no way in hell that we're gonna fucking give up these properties or tax the people that made the money, all this shit, you know, whatever, and transfer, you know, just give it straight up to the people on the street. No, nothing like that. But now let's put this scenario. If these properties or how these properties were built, if that was stolen, if the money was stolen, if the way that these things were built, it was built on this tax money which was stolen from you, me, and everybody else, well then the people that have these properties, they really aren't entitled to these properties. If anything, they illegally obtained them, right? Well, legally, but you know what I'm saying. So at the end of the day, by us putting people on the street, which again, a good 80% of the people on the street are just like people like you and me that missed the payment. If we were to ever, you know, able to house these people, we would solve a humongous majority of the problem in this country at the moment right now. Because I'm gonna give you, this is a study that I talked about, you know, I read it like a long ass time ago about the homeless situation. And this is what it is. Pretty much, and especially here in LA, okay, because I've done research. The thing is that like homeless people, they have pretty much, and especially in a city like this, they have every single resource that a human needs to survive. Everything from toilets to food to money to cell phones to name it, everything. There's only one thing that they don't have, and it's not jobs, by the way. No, it's not that. It's a home. It's a home. Okay, and this is why I was talking about, you know, putting these people in homes, because we've all been poor. We've all been, okay, sorry, I want to make sure we're starting. We've all been poor, and we've all been in this situation before, and we can go a few days without eating. We can go a few days without a few luxuries here and there, but the one thing that we can't really go one day without having like major repercussions is a bed. And not just a bed, a roof. Not just a roof, a shower. And these readily accessible things, because just think about it. Anyone out there in that rat race still, and you gotta wake up every single fucking morning to go to your job and whatever. Just think about the fact that if you don't have, you have every single thing, every other entity, everything else, but you just don't have the comfortable bed type area to sleep in, the just dry roof, okay? And then just a shower. Think about it. Think about it, like if you have to wake up in your car and you have to go to the gym to get showered, to get, you know, to get dressed, to get whatever, just to go to your job, okay? And then once you get out of work, you don't have a home to go to. And you're gonna kind of have to do the same thing over again. And then you go to the gym in the afternoon when the gym is packed full of people and you're walking in there in your suit and you're just going in there to take a shower. And then go what? And then do what? You don't have a home to go to. You gotta just sit in your car, wait till the next day. And that's even if you have a fucking car. So this is and again, you can have food, you can have all these fucking things, but that psychological, that thing about the roof over your head is a psychological mind fuck that's constant, okay? And the fact that we live in a fucking place, in a country that we can actually house all these fucking people, and yet we give them everything from drugs to fucking to cell phones to give them every single fucking everything else but that, when we have plenty of that to give them. So anyway, and that's the thing, you know, it's a lot deeper. You know, these problems are a lot deeper than most people even want to like look into. Because again, while I was talking about the Boyle Heights and that gentrification situation, is because remember, I'm an artist and I come from that world. So, you know, we as artists, okay, artists or coffee enthusiasts are usually the first people to come into the hood, okay, put up a coffee shop, an art gallery, okay, and eventually all the other money comes in, and not just the money comes in, but then the poor that live there get pushed out, hence the gentrification, you know, meaning that, you know, this place was, you couldn't walk in this neighborhood a few years ago, and now, you know, there's people renting apartments for $2,000 or $3,000, when $2,000 or $3,000 would probably rent you the whole fucking building 5 years before that. You kind of get where, okay. And so a lot of these people that have been living in these areas and they're like super crazy poor, dilapidated, they probably pay, I forgot how to grandfather it in rent, you know, meaning that they've been paying rent for like, I don't know, for decades at like a couple $100s. So all of a sudden they're getting pushed out And once they get pushed out, some new building is being put there, and now the rent is $3,000 as opposed to $300. So now now you understand how people end up on the street like that. Okay. And now what's happening is that a lot of these people that are not pushed out yet, but are about to start getting pushed out, they're starting to push back, and they're like, no, don't even come into our neighborhoods. Leave our neighborhoods poor, fucked up, and dilapidated. We don't fucking want you here, because all you're gonna do is just to kick us out. And you kind of, and then the thing is that who these people need to be pushing back against are the banksters, the real estate agents, like certain other entities. But the reality is that the only entities that they can confront are gallery owners or coffee shop owners or things in that ilk, because those are the only people that can afford to start renting their, that whole, how that gentrification starts, that, these are the first groups that, jump into your neighborhood before everybody else, all the fancy stuff comes in, your avocado toast and all that bullshit. Okay. So, and I see it because I just hearing this, I've been in the West Coast for a long time, so I've been seeing it happening in Seattle for a long time. I've been seeing it happen, up and down. I've been seeing it happen even when I go visit Miami, when I go visit my family now. I go to certain neighborhoods like Wynwood and shit like that, and I'm like, what the fuck? It's like, the worst fucking neighborhoods like on the planet, and now they're like little art, centers, which is, mind blowing. And, this is happening around, not just around this country, but around the world. And remember, this is nothing new. This has been happening forever, since history, for many, many hundreds of years, or whatever the fuck you want to call it. And it's just a natural cycle. You've heard of whitewashing, well, they're calling this art washing or something like that. And that's the thing, they use people like artists, coffee shop, they use that, that's that minority that's trying to rise up as well from the ashes. They, by they I mean the other entities, the ones with the real money, the ones trying to do all this. They use us as cannon fodder in order to push ahead their agenda, the agenda of continuing the cycle, continuing the monetary cycle, continuing this whole fucking thing. Okay. So, anyways, I know it was a mouthful, talking a lot of stuff, but the point is, I guess, I don't even know what the fucking point is to this whole vlog today, but fire. But the point, I guess what I'm trying to say is that this is why we need to keep educating, not just ourselves, but educating others, and constantly looking at situations like it's a trapezoid, because it is. There's like 100 sides to these things. Okay, I mean, a trapezoid doesn't have 100 sides, but you understand what I'm saying in that sense that now when we're looking at this gentrification from this other different perspective, it's like, whoa, wait a minute. You feel me? And that's the thing. Like it's all this stuff is all about separation. Survival of the fittest, all this stuff, like pitting us against each other as opposed to us against them, and that whole thing. So this is why knowledge is the most powerful thing we have, because if we are able to, like, let's say, someone owning a coffee shop or a gallery is somehow able to have a conversation with some of these people, that are feeling marginalized and being pushed out and that whole whatever, and there's some sort of then maybe, you know what I mean? They can join forces and really attack the real problem, which we already know what the real problem is, okay? It's that dollar bill, y'all. That's all it is. It's all about that dollar bills. You feel me? And if all of us, and again, I'm saying, it's like, man, I wish I was that kind of person. I can only do so much, but I wish I was like some other person out there that is listening to me and is living on the ground level in some of these fucking areas and knows about this stuff, and then all of a sudden it'd be like, maybe even using cryptocurrencies or using any kind of this new technology to bridge that gap, to put everybody together in order to combat the real motherfucking problem. And that's it. Okay? It's all about that power, and that power that comes from the monetary system and that currency and that whole fucking thing, and how we need to break away, and we're doing it. But these are all the tiny little itty bitty problems. Everything that I just talked about today are just tiny little problems, which again keep getting compounded and make it so much more difficult for us to go up against them. But guess what? You know, it's a lot easier every single day to do what we're doing because there's more of us, and each of us is more willing to go further, harder, deeper. This is sounding kind of gay, but you know what I'm saying. It's all about, you know, just doing our part. Okay? So anyways. Alright guys. I think that's it. Right? I'm done. I've already been filming for a while. I gotta go. I got shit to do. Like, you know, go outside and get wet. Gotta start editing a video. Gotta get ready for this weekend. I got a lot of shit to do, etc., etc., etc. So, thanks guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for participating in this whole thing that we're calling YouTube's. Okay, now I feel like this is working a little bit too much. Anyway, please like, please subscribe, please share, and I'll see you guys mañana. All right? Smoke them if you got them. What am I smoking today? It's a hybrid shake. All right? Some, you know, my friend gave me a. That's what I got left here. So anyway, some hybrid shake. It's pretty good. Pretty good. You guys should try out the shakes at your dispensaries, all right? They're actually really good sometimes, all right? You'd be surprised. I'm surprised. All right, guys. See you guys mañana.